Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new podcast, the PurpleDon Enlightenment Hour, where I get enlightened about topics that I don't necessarily know a great deal about, and I'm certainly ready to get this show started. Joining me for this first episode is the co-host of Odd Shaped Panel and Odd Shaped Plays that can all be found on the Odd Shaped channel. There's a lot of odd shaped things going on. And also on the Tough channel, links as always below. Tom Bennis is here. Hi, Tom.
Hey Morgan, how's it going?
It's going very well. I'm excited to have you on for the first episode. What are we talking about?
We are talking about the symbiote race from Spider-Man.
And
616, to be specific.
okay. So we've got even more. I know this is a topic that I have not a fantastic depth of knowledge about. It's very surface level. So I'm definitely excited to learn more today about this symbiote business.
I think one thing we should get right out of the way is Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3.
Yes, Spider-Man 3, because Venom is, of course, the character of Venom is the sort of most well-known symbiote of Spider-Man. I don't know if I'm using even the right terminology. And that was where my first introduction to this whole thing was, through Venom in Spider-Man 3. And I know that's not a particularly good introduction, but I've never read Spider-Man comics or anything like that, or even seen the older animated series. I've never checked that out. So those first Raimi Spider-Man films were my first introduction to Spider-Man, because they were sort of at the perfect time for me to get into that sort of thing. And yeah, that, I'm led to believe, not very good portrayal of Venom was my introduction to that thing.
The thing about it is, it's not even a bad portrayal of Venom, because Venom as a symbiote, the effects were on point. It was Eddie Brock,
right?
Because they symbiotic relationship, they worked together, and I'm sure Topher Grace tried, but Sam Raimi was given Venom as a last minute thing. There were 11 months into shooting, I believe, and they're like, all right, put Venom in. And so, they tried, but if there was too much going on for them not, you had Sandman, you had the Green Goblin or whatever, the Blue Goblin, I think they called it. There was too much for that, and they should have known that. And if they focused on Topher Grace, we can get more when we're talking about Eddie Brock specifically.
Yeah.
But they tried. But you brought up the cartoon, and that was my first exposure to it. Fox Kids had Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Mm-hmm.
Between that and X-Men the Animated Series, that's where I had all my Marvel knowledge. And
yeah.
For those who are not familiar with our channel, we were fortunate enough to interview the writers, Eric and Julia Lewald. Very nice people for X-Men the Animated Series. But Spider-Man the Animated Series, while it was a more G-rated version of the character, it knew what they had, and maybe I'm biased because I'm like, oh, well, it was more, of original depiction, but it was the first thing I saw.
Yeah.
But it echoes through the comics, and they get into some more heavier stuff. But as far as the origin and stuff like that, it's pretty much right on there, even having the Fantastic Four involved.
Right. Okay. I mean, so that was sort of your first sort of thing. Is there sort of like a best Venom that you think? Is there a sort of favorite iteration of Venom? Speaking Venom particularly.
Because, we're probably going to go through each one.
Yeah.
Because I overdo things. But I, Eric Brock will always be the granddaddy of symbiotes, literally. But I really like the Agent Venom stuff, and it kind of goes on a wacky ride. But if you don't know, Agent Venom is actually a post-war veteran alcoholic Flash Thompson.
Okay.
So the bully of Peter Parker, who idolized Spider-Man, like, funny enough,
Yeah.
ends up being a good, like, Venom becomes a good guy in this run.
Okay. When's this run from? Is this like...
It's actually, it is recent, but there is a new incarnation of Venom now, which we can get into, but probably within the past 4 years,
Okay.
5 years, really.
Okay.
But there's a lot of cool events, and I'll give a shout out to each of them as we go over it.
Yeah.
But I mean, unlike Spider-Man 3, where the source of the symbiote is a rock from space.
Yeah.
It's actually an alien race, which I guess it could still be an alien race, but it's an established alien race called the Clintar.
Okay.
Now, the name of the species was just revealed with Flash Thompson's run of Venom. But it's always, I think in 1995 they established that this was the origin.
Right.
That this was a planet full of symbiotes, but they were actually very benevolent. Like, they were good natured.
Okay.
They strive to find good hosts. Which is why the like attraction to Peter Parker kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Great power, like the morality fits. They know. Now specifically the Venom symbiote, he took a host who was not a good guy. And
so that's where the evil sort of Venom comes from.
To, like, corruption, like, because there is a whole sect of Clintar that are called the Corrupted because it happens to a lot of them.
Okay.
Now the Clintar actually act as agents of the cosmos, like think like Shield, but with symbiotes, like with representing every alien race, almost. Like, spoilers if you're interested in the runs, and because I want people to read Agent Venom. It's just called Venom Space Knight.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with Space Knight, it was an old comic that followed. It was Rom Space Knight, and he was like an intergalactic. Think like Green Lantern, but he was a robot.
Right.
So they kind of give him this run after he meets up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it's cool where Agent Venom goes, and I really recommend checking out those books if you get a chance. But I keep getting ahead of myself. So they imprison him, and somehow he ends up on Battleworld, which in the origin issue, Secret Wars 8, Spider-Man finds the costume, and it makes a costume based on Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman costume.
Okay.
That's why it doesn't look like the original.
Okay.
But they like, now it's canon. There was another person there on Battleworld who wore the suit before Parker did. Do you have any guesses on who?
So there's someone in this whole thing that wore the Spider-Man suit. We're talking.
Well, no, wore the symbiote.
Or wore the symbiote before. So, and what run is this? Is this in the where Flash Thompson?
Well, this would be back. Oh, man, how long is this? I think early '90s is when Venom showed up, because
was that
Todd McFarlane is responsible for, like, Venom's creature design.
Okay.
You can kind of see that in Spawn with the eyes.
Okay.
So it had to be around that area. For those who are not familiar, Todd McFarlane is most famous for Spawn and McFarlane Toys, which are really cool. Actually, real quick, while we're talking about the creation of Venom, I was telling you earlier, the idea of his costume was actually from a Marvel reader named Randall Schuler, and Marvel bought it for $220. And the reason they bought it was because another guy named Jim Shooter, he's like the one who was responsible for killing off Jean Grey in the Dark Phoenix saga.
Okay.
He's responsible for the first company-wide crossover in American comics. It
Right.
was his idea to actually push this character through,
Okay.
and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question was Deadpool. Deadpool was actually there on
Deadpool.
Battleworld, and he sensed that like it was like, oh, this is like feeding off of me. Like he picked up on it before like Spider-Man had the realization, like real quick. And then they're also saying that because symbiotes take the qualities of their hosts,
Yes.
that's kind of why the Venom symbiote's a bit unhinged, is because it had like Deadpool for a quick second.
Oh, so they sort of do they build up different sort of snippets of personality from each of the people?
Oh yeah, when
They
it's corrupted, it's literally like it can recall its past host memories. So let's say,
okay.
so that's why Eddie Brock is such a threat to Peter Parker, is because all of the memories that the suit had when Peter Parker was running around, Eddie
Yeah.
now has access to.
Yeah.
Now he knows Aunt May. Now he knows, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. And Eddie Brock isn't a particularly nice guy in the first place.
Well, Eddie Brock. So okay, well, Spider-Man, he gets the suit, right?
Yeah.
And it's very quickly established that like the suit's its own thing, and to the point where it was running Spider-Man around while he was sleeping.
Right.
And still doing like there's a cover of like him in the black suit lifting people in the sky, and because the suit finds what Peter Parker does is very new. Like it's so cool that this like costume has a personality.
Yeah.
Like and like I think people are starting to realize that that's kind of cool. Like if you look at Doctor Strange's cloak, how it has a
Yes.
personality
Yeah.
now. Like it doesn't have like the backstory, but I'm sure if you go into it, I don't know, maybe some monk is trapped in
Yeah.
it. Like, I'm sure it could be something.
It probably
really cool.
does.
But so it's running him around. So he goes to Reed Richards. They figure out that the suit is like it's weak to sonic devices and fire. So they get it off of him.
Okay.
It gets out, disguises itself as a spare of his other costume, gets him again, and they have a showdown, which is like the Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Where it's in the bell tower, and he uses the bell.
Yeah.
To get him off.
Yeah.
Now, instead of Topher Grace crying about Photoshop, that's what Spider-Man 3's plot was. He used Photoshop to fake these photos.
Yes.
Eddie Brock is a failed reporter.
Yeah.
And he gets the break on this huge crime boss named Sin Eater. Or at least he says he gets a break, and he makes that up.
Okay.
Now, the reason for this is because he's been just diagnosed with a rare cancer that affects his adrenal glands.
Right.
And I say that because that's kind of a weird thing, and it kind of shows back up later because the symbiote feeds on adrenaline. So that's why another reason why the suit loves Peter Parker is because he goes into these risk situations.
Yeah. Okay.
And his adrenaline's pumping. Not pumpkin.
Pumpkin adrenaline. I like that. I like that.
Well, funny enough, Jack-o'-lantern is a villain of Agent Venom, but we can get to that later.
It actually does link to pumpkins. I like it.
Yeah, I have to segue to everything. You saw my graphs, man. So he's just been diagnosed here, and so he's trying to afford treatment. He's trying to make sure his I think it's his ex-wife at this point is all right. Doesn't have any kids, I don't think. No, he doesn't. And so he goes to this bell tower, which again, before this happens, there's another like they enforced new canon in, but in Deadpool Back in Black. So the bell tower scene happens.
Yeah.
And then the symbiote escapes.
Yeah.
Bonds itself to bonds itself to Deadpool.
Right.
Has a romp, fights Spider-Man, ends up back at the bell tower.
Right.
And this is where Eddie Brock walks in. That's like a new insert.
Okay. Okay.
So it was like Symbiote's day out, essentially.
Symbiote, I like that. That's the film I want to see.
Yeah, I would watch that. It sounds better than whatever they're thinking about doing. I don't know. Well, that's another thing.
Yes,
That's
we'll
probably
get
how
into
it
that in a bit.
blows off. But he so between the rejection from the symbiote of like Peter Parker literally ripping it off of him,
Yeah.
and because it has a personality, it's like we are supposed to be a team, like, and you rejected me. And it's only audio. The cat's attacking the computer. And Peter Parker's relationship with Eddie Brock and how that's sour because I think it is Peter Parker who exposes the Sin Eater story. Like the elements of Spider-Man 3 are right, but
Yeah.
they don't have enough about the background. And another thing that hurt the movie too was the physiology of Eddie Brock, like having that scrawny little dude.
Yeah. Should.
And they never like if it was a thing where because the symbiote has a like list of powers that it pretty much always has since it's bonded with Spider-Man.
Okay.
Web shooting, wall crawling. It's immune to Spider-Man's Spidey sense, so it can always get the drop on Spider-Man.
Okay.
Has its own spider sense, super durability, healing factor. Like he gets his face like cut in half, and the suit heals him like in a second.
Okay.
And he also has mass manipulation, so he can become bigger and bulging and stuff like that. But they didn't even really play with that in a thing. And another huge thing was that they didn't use we. Venom talks on behalf, or Eddie talks on behalf of both of them.
Okay.
We are Venom. We came to destroy
I get
you.
it. I get it. Okay.
You have hurt us. And that is almost like the foundation of like the difference between Venom and Carnage. So
Right.
Carnage is his main host is Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, and Carnage is he's red, isn't he? Usually, he's like a burning red color.
And he also the difference between Carnage and Venom was Cletus Cassidy fully embraced the symbiote suit, like to a cellular level. Like that was something Brock wasn't willing to do. He was willing to use the suit, but he wasn't really to bond fully with it.
Okay.
To the point where like he actually kept the suit in his bloodstream at a certain point, to where if you cut him, the suit would come out.
Right.
But that's much later. But Cletus Cassidy, he is at I'm forgetting the prison name right now, but it's not the Raft, but it's I think it's Iron Heights or something like that. Or I think that's Luke Cage. I'm gonna stop talking about prisons.
He's in a prison.
He is in a prison.
He is in a prison.
Eddie Brock is patiently waiting for the Venom suit to bring him out because he knows that the suit wants to be with its host.
Yeah.
And that it's going to happen eventually. And he is bumped with Cletus Cassidy, who is like a serial killer.
Oh, okay. So Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy are like cellmates right now.
Yeah, they had a relationship before.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Carnage is Venom's son.
Oh, okay. See, this is where I really start to learn things. This is exactly what this show is all about. I had no idea.
This is like the Game of Thrones of alien fashion choices. So when Venom goes and breaks him out, Venom leaves like a baby symbiote, and it attaches itself to Cletus Cassidy. Now, because Cletus Cassidy is so willing to, this is already a corrupted host.
Yeah.
And now it's being corrupted even more. He's fully bonded with it, so he's able to do more with it. He was able he still is, to do like weapons out of his things. Like Venom always had like tendrils and weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was able to make like constructs, like an axe or something like that.
Oh, out of the symbiote itself.
Yes, like his hand would convert into like a sword or whatever.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Venom would later get that kind of trait, but for a long time he didn't have that. It was just pretty much basically strong man, like
strong man
he would
in a black suit.
once in a while.
Yeah.
but he wouldn't like have like 6 of them out and shit.
Yeah.
So Carnage, he has a weird history, but I always, in my mind, I've never really said it out loud before, but I think Carnage and Venom are like, to give you an idea of how their characters differ, is I versus we.
Right.
Because Carnage has accepted it so much that now Cletus is Carnage.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we're not a team, we
Yeah.
are the same thing. Or I am Carnage. Sorry, my security's trying to do something. I don't know. Anyway, got a virus. So he has a long thing, and it'll come back up later. He's just a murderer, and like he gets the symbiote taken away from him at a certain point, and he thinks he's Carnage so much that without the symbiote, he breaks out of jail, paints himself red, and starts killing people. Like,
right.
Doesn't even have the suit, but he doesn't need it to be Carnage.
Okay, that's interesting then.
Now, because of Carnage's, like, when he resurfaces, this is when, like, Venom and Spider-Man join forces for the first time.
Right, and what year are we looking at here? What sort of, when is this around?
I'm sorry, what was that?
When is this sort of like the whole Spider-Man Venom team
Well, I remember
to...
when, in the comic books, it was already happening when, like, the animated series showed up.
Oh, okay.
Because, and I remember, like, Sega Genesis had Maximum Carnage, the video game, where it was a beat-em-up, and you were Spider-Man and Venom. And,
Oh, okay.
Later, they had Separation Anxiety, which was another symbiote-themed game, because more babies could born, and we'll get there. All symbiote babies want to be born.
Okay.
And, yeah, so they team up, and, one thing I was telling you earlier. One thing I love about this team-up is they're swinging through New York together, and Venom starts singing Strangers in the Night for no reason.
Which is insane to me. Why? The last thing I think about when I think of Venom is singing. So why is he singing?
Well, he's just kind of like unhinged a bit. Like, why would Deadpool be singing in a situation?
I suppose so. And at this point, does he have Deadpool's personality in there?
That's what people are kind of like. It's kind of come around to this point where people are saying, like, it wasn't established until recently that Deadpool even had the costume. There was what ifs
okay.
about Venom having the
Deadpool
having the Venom suit. Denim.
Denim. That's what he should have been called. That's a series we need.
There we go.
Called Denim. He just wears jeans every day. I like it.
Well, that's the cool thing about the symbiote suit too, is I could literally be wearing it right now, and then it turns into the suit. And what's also cool is, like, I remember very specifically in one episode of the animated series, Peter Parker didn't have somewhere to put a roll of film, and like the suit, like that, they were jeans at the time. The suit popped out a little pocket. He put the film in there, and the film dissolved into the suit. Like, it had its own, like, little pocket dimension.
Okay.
Deep pockets dimension. So, like, there's just so many little things about the suit and, like, its capabilities that I just loved.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely sounds, like, really interesting. More interesting than I thought it as just sort of a sentient blob-like substance that just fixes onto people.
Where it feels feelings. Like,
oh, right. We go even. It's
like that. Not even that. Like, I have not been disappointed by, like, Marvel has disappointed me in a lot of aspects of certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
But Venom, until maybe recently, I haven't read the new book, so I can't, like, give it a fair assessment. But I secretly do like it, I think, now that I'm thinking about it. But
secretly.
Well, just because I don't know, but the concept's kind of cool, and I'll explain.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, but I think we forgot. Oh, so during this time, there's also some really over-convoluted government agency conspiracy theory that at a certain point, Venom's tongue got cut off. If you're not familiar with Venom, he has this huge writhing tongue that comes out of his, like, jaws.
Those
jaws are also venomous. Nobody knows about that, and that's kind of
Oh,
why he
right.
has that name. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's where his name comes from, his, like, teeth and...
I don't know if that's exactly what came
Or
first, the
is it...
power or the name, but
Yeah, because it might be the idea of actual
because if you
something...
look at the symbiotes like aliases, they're very weird. It's like Carnage, Mania. And Mania is this clone that's this over convoluted government conspiracy that I was telling you made of that tongue that got cut off.
Ah, okay.
And so it to a woman named Patricia Robertson, and it was this cool series. I remember I was reading it in high school. And eventually the Venom symbiote, as Eddie Brock, absorbs, and by absorb I mean eats, this other suit, this clone, with Patricia inside.
Okay.
And some people don't realize Venom eats people.
No, I did not realise that Venom ate people.
Well, so Eddie Brock has cancer, right?
Okay.
And in order to get, if it's not getting the adrenaline and everything it needs, which is already being disrupted somehow, I'm sure the regeneration capabilities are at least keeping it from being worse. Where's I going with that? Oh no, I lost my thought.
Cool.
Oh, right. So it needs to eat, it needs to get its nutrition from something.
Yeah.
It will eat people, and there's like a lot of early work from Venom that's like, I'm gonna eat your brains, and
Right.
it was very just like primitive, more like just like a creepier Hulk, where he was just like brains, and then attack you.
Okay.
But
That's kind of cool.
And that's also a reflection of how much control the symbiote has, and how much control the host has.
Yes.
You see, Agent Venom, when he loses control, it becomes he's very slimmed down as Agent Venom. He has like combat armor,
right?
And he looks like Spider-Man still, but it's very slim. But when he loses control, it's this huge hulking Venom that we're familiar with even more. So, so that's also like a cool thing, is you can tell subtly what's going on just by the art style.
Right. Okay.
So he gets his cancer back, it comes back full force.
Mm-hmm.
And he decides that he has a religious reawakening, apparently. And he decides he doesn't need to be Venom anymore. And he sells the suit.
Okay.
So he sells the suit to this guy named Don Fortuno for his son, Angelo, who is he's hoping the suit will make him into a man, because he's a crime boss. He wants his son to be a powerful enforcer or whatever. And the dude straight up sucks. And the suit knows it. Mid web swing, the symbiote just lets go of him.
Wow.
And he lets him fall to his death.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
the suit's ruthless, is what you're telling me.
The suit has standards.
Only the perfect hosts.
But while I brought up separation anxiety earlier, while Brock was still Venom, this other organization called the Life Foundation, which was a human, they were trying to preserve humanity throughout the apocalypse, or it was something weird. And they were able to get 5 premature hybrids off of Venom.
Okay.
And give them to their agents. So this became Scream, Riot, Fange, Agony, and Lasher.
So now there's 5 other mini Venoms running around.
They're ruthless, and they're not smart though. They're supposed to be they take complete control over them. Yeah. And then so the willpower is very low on the agents, so they're just lashing out like Lasher. And they're kind of a force of destruction more than anything.
Okay, so they're not as evolved as...
Not at this point. Later on, Scream gets it, because they go in kind of 2 directions. Scream kind of goes off, and she's goes crazy, and she's like, all right, symbiotes are evil, symbiotes are evil, symbiotes are evil.
Yeah.
And makes a plan to kill all the other symbiotes. The other 4 symbiotes combined and become a symbiote called Hybrid.
Okay.
And they attach themselves to this security guard named Scott Washington. And like the difference, like he has like a weird like color pattern, and like he has like glider wings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but he does. Well, first Scream killed all the original hosts, and then they got to the Scott Washington guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then Eddie Brock just kills Hybrid, and I don't really remember what happens to the suit. It kind of doesn't get brought up again.
Okay.
It maybe comes back up in Carnage USA, but I don't remember exactly. So
Okay.
after it drops that idiot from the sky, it actually finds its second host with Mac Gargan, who's the Scorpion.
Oh, okay.
And this is around, like, I believe the early 2000s, so this was after I got out of high school. And during Civil War, Norman Osborn had his own, like, Dark Avengers group, where, like, Dakin, who's Wolverine's son, was posing as Wolverine, and Bullseye was posing as, like, Hawkeye.
Right.
And so they had Matt Gorgon posing as Spider-Man, but he was Venom.
Okay.
He kind of, like, unwillingly gave up to the Venom symbiote, or I think Norman Osborn played with it in some way, which doesn't surprise me. So like he was more cannibalistic, like he would straight up just be eating some dude's arm in the middle of a fight.
Right.
But during all this, the symbiote finally gets taken away from him. Eddie Brock at this time has now become anti-Venom.
Well, this sounds
It
confusing.
was a magical clone made up of a bit of the symbiote and Eddie Brock's white blood cells.
Okay, but let me ask you a question now, because
Okay.
if Eddie Brock as Venom like has this symbiote and all, and they're just like two separate things, so it's just Eddie and the symbiote coming together as Venom. Surely this is just the same thing.
Anti-Venom?
Yeah, because
No, it's magic.
oh, it's magic.
The thing is, at this point, Eddie Brock's like this is the cure to Eddie Brock's cancer.
Oh, okay.
And he, at this point, is like, symbiotes are evil, and starts going after all the other symbiotes. And this is a trend for Eddie Brock.
Okay.
And his power scheme's a little bit different. Like, when he's fighting against Spider-Man, if he gets, like, his like claws into Spider-Man, he can actually heal the radioactive mutation that gives Spider-Man his powers.
Okay, that's
So this is where, like,
pretty...
healing is actually like a weapon.
Yeah, that's not good.
But he gives up the anti-venom suit to cure spider flu, which is a thing that existed in the Spider Island books, and everyone started getting Spider-Man powers, but becoming spiders. And like the Spider Queen was actually Captain America. Like, it was weird.
Yeah, that sounds very, very weird.
Well, we also got to get some characters back, like Kane, who is a Spider-Man clone from the 90s, which there was a lot of, came back. So there was cool things about it, but it was a weird story.
Yeah. Spider flu.
Carnage during Civil War. He got ripped in half by Sentry and thrown into space. But I think like right before that, the symbiote got a hold of Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay.
Which is a symbiote using cosmic powers.
Yeah. They like to go around different people, don't they?
Well, they always try to remain faithful to one host, at least Venom, and well, Carnage more than anyone. Carnage because they're connected to a cellular level.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
But whoever Venom makes the agreement to be with, he usually does his best to fulfill that agreement.
Is it just a case of the hosts just going, no, I don't want you anymore, go away?
Like, willpower is a big factor.
Yeah.
So during this, Carnage has a kid of his own,
Right.
named Toxin. And this was a short run, and I really liked the character because according to the rules of the race, like there's a weird because there's genetic information, like they'll know things about the universe just because they inherit it.
Okay.
Because it's like in their DNA somehow. But there are gaps, and you have to have like your grandfather is supposed to show up, and his grandfather would be Venom in this case.
Right.
Has to teach him and stuff. So and like Venom's trying to tell Carnage this, but he won't have it. Like Carnage won't let him near Toxin because he wants to kill Toxin. Because if anything, he learned that I'm a bigger badass than my dad. So that means my kid's gonna be a bigger. Like this is a theme like in mythology. It happens with like Kronos and like Zeus. Like it's not an old theme. But he attaches himself to Patrick Mulligan, and because he doesn't get these lessons and stuff, the symbiote talks to him, and they're capable of talk. Like they have conversations.
Okay.
He's like a teenager. He's like his reactions to things. He's like very like a teenager. He's like, well, why should I do this? He's very rebellious.
Okay.
But they make a deal to be partners and stuff like that. And I don't know exactly what happens to him, but Eddie Brock is now currently wearing the Toxin suit.
Right.
So Eddie Brock gets around more, I think, than the symbiotes. So
Eddie Brock going everywhere.
Mac Gorgon, the Scorpion one, he gets the symbiote suit and loses it, but it's cool. It's like some of his designs like show him having like it's Venom but with a scorpion tail.
Right.
He has it for a while, but I think he gets most of like he's in the Dark Avengers, so that's where he gets most of the spotlight.
Okay.
So the government now has the symbiote suit, and Flash Gordon, who is going through a lot of problems right now and everything like that, doesn't have legs. They got blown off.
Right.
Did I say Flash Gordon? I'm sorry, Flash Thompson.
Yes, you did. Didn't even realise. I didn't even realise you said Flash Gordon. We're not talking about Flash.
space because Flash didn't get there. So
we're not talking about Flash Gordon.
So so he becomes Agent Venom, and they're like, all right, 48 hours tops, because after that the suit's gonna bond with you. It's very restricted, his access, and it's a theme throughout the episode because when he does have it, he does tend to lose control once in a while. So they go and he gets it's his own twisted rogues gallery of Spider-Man. Instead of a Green Goblin, he has this jack-o'-lantern dude who his whole stick is he'll cut your top of your head off, scoop out the brains, cut out the eyeballs, but leave candles in there so that you look like a jack-o'-lantern.
And this is where the pumpkins come back into play.
Yeah, that's him. We are currently having a car alarm. Oh, that was quick. So
cut.
Yeah, Flash is running around and he gets a really cool run. It's like a team up run, and it's called the Circle of Four, and he teams up with Red Hulk, Ghost Rider, and not the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. It's the female one who I can't remember her name, but and X-23.
Right.
And so it's this whole demon Mephisto's in it, and they end up making a pact with Mephisto in order to help them with this current situation. And I think it was there's clones of X-23 that were being put with bits of Carnage symbiote. I can't remember exactly, but
is this recent years?
More about I would say about 6 years ago. I'm not very sure. I don't know what day it is, so I can't tell you what year exactly this came out. I'm only a vague professional, but I'd say about that long. I don't know.
Okay.
Agent Venom doesn't seem like it's been out that long, but I feel like it has been. Otherwise, why change the character now? Because there is a new host. I didn't even write his name down because I don't really know. But we'll get there. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
So all this is happening with Flash, and he's becoming like he's teamed up with Spider-Man at this point. Like, but I don't think he knows Peter is Spider-Man yet.
Right.
Maybe he does. I don't remember exactly the dynamic because it's been portrayed a lot in like the different animations that Disney has done and stuff like that. There is a girl there who is like his like apartment, like and a young girl. She lives with her father, but like a high school student, and he's teaching like phys ed, as like in a wheelchair. He's teaching phys ed and stuff like that.
Okay.
If anything, like it does wonders for his cover because no one's gonna suspect him as Venom.
True. Fair enough.
It's really cool that it gives him legs when he's in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other thing that's cool about the Agent Venom suit is like he'll have tendrils come off with guns, so he has like 6 guns on him.
Ah.
Yeah, like it's cool to have a gun-wielding Spider-Man with like capabilities of making a shield and stuff like that. Like he's very tactical with the use of the symbiote when he has control.
Yes, it's almost shapeshifty. It's sort of
Yeah. Well, this is at this point they've gotten closer to like the Carnage, but it also depends on who he's hosting because at a certain point the symbiote gets on top of Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
And he's holding a gun, and so it becomes like a bio-mechanical gun.
Right.
So it all like the rules depend on the user.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was because Rocket Raccoon is like has like mechanics in it already because he's cybernetic.
Yeah.
But so he's finally doing all this. Oh, okay. So the girl from the high school, Jack Lantern shows up and kills her dad, and in order to save her, he like extends a piece of the symbiote onto her.
Okay.
And like this has happened before. There's I showed you the toy I have, the Bride of Venom, which was Eddie Brock's ex-wife, who he sent a piece of the symbiote to over a phone line. Because phones were plugged in back then. And like she ran around with the suit, although she hated it. So he extends the suit to her. But at this point, he's made the deal and all like that with Mephisto. And like to the point where like pentagrams show up on their chest if you have like spectral vision.
Okay.
Like so they're like marked for the devil.
Right.
So this piece of the suit is actually the clone Mania, because she actually adopts a title too on her own.
Okay.
Is the clone that he absorbed and is possessed by the woman who Venom ate.
Okay.
She bumped into the symbiote still in there. She's like a ghost.
Okay. I mean, yeah. What I'm getting from this is that there's just a lot of sort of switching between different things and the symbiotes.
Yeah, there's a lot of adjustments.
I mean, it's kind of confusing to me at least, anyway, because I am more of a quite nice sort of simple story kind of.
Well, think about it like this: it's like Game of Thrones. It's a family history.
True.
Because they're all children.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, you've got me
We're
now.
about near the end, though. We're at the point. This is the book I brought up earlier of Space Knights going on.
Okay, and this is like a current-ish.
The most recent Flash Thompson stuff.
Okay.
Because I mean, there are some other side stories. Like he comes back to Earth, and the symbiote bonds to Superior Spider-Man. And if you're not familiar with that, that's Peter Parker being like he's switched brains with Dr. Octopus, so it's Otto Octavius and Peter Parker's body as Venom. That's
very strange.
Yeah, the symbiote doesn't like it at all. He's like, "You're not Parker. Like, what is this?"
Oh, okay.
So Flash goes and he teams up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is where he finds out that Clintars are a thing. Like people are like referring to him as like a dirty Clintar, like because they have a reputation of being corruptive.
Right.
So he figures out where his planet is, the Clintar, and if you look at this in the artwork, it's straight up like it looks like it's a Geiger. Like,
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, it's really cool looking because like all the plants are symbiotic with these creatures, like the other like animals and stuff like that, because it'll attach itself to a dog. In Old Man Logan, there's a Venom symbiote running around on a T-Rex from the Savage Lands.
Oof.
That's terrifying. So he actually goes there and he learns about the agents of the cosmos, and he's cleansed.
Okay.
And all of this corruption is gone, and he takes like the suit like becomes more like streamlined, and
right.
He's actually like he's totally with Flash. He's like, all right, let's do this. Like, you've always been good to me. I'm sorry, I've been a jerk.
Right.
I'm good now though. They get their own ship, and this is where like Space Knight starts, and like Venom is able to actually exist off of Flash for a little bit. He doesn't like it, but if you need like Flash needs an extra thing. At this point, Flash has cybernetic legs because he's in space.
Yeah.
Why not? So like, let's run with that. And then eventually he ends up he has to attach himself into this bad guy, and he gets corrupted again. And I don't know exactly how Flash and the Venom symbiote get separated, but the symbiote runs and attaches itself to this other veteran who he's like, all right, this guy's going to be just like Flash. He's down on his luck, blah, blah, blah. But this guy's like straight up is like a dick.
Right.
And he overcomes, like, for once Venom is like struggling to control to do good.
Right.
Why I don't know if I like it because it's not Agent Venom.
Yeah.
But do I like that the struggle is more on the part of Venom pleading, no, we can't kill people, and it's the guy whose willpower is overcoming him. His name's Lee something.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of interesting, though.
The concept's interesting. There's not enough about it because, like, I'll read. I don't have time to read every single comic book, so I'll read like synopsis and stuff like that just to stay caught up. But it's interesting, and I really like the design. Like, you know, the traditional like the way the white will band out over like the shoulders and stuff.
Yeah.
This one now, one of the arms goes all the way down his hand and comes off the fingers and stuff like that. So I like the design for the new Venom, especially more than like the Scorpion Venom design. I didn't really like that one.
Right. Well, I mean, it seems like Venom's almost becoming more of a anti-hero, or even like a.
The thing about Venom, even when he was corrupted, was he's the good guy and Spider-Man is the bad guy. He'll go if he sees a woman getting robbed in an alley. He'll go down, rip out that person's spine, and be like, "Here you go, ma'am."
Okay. But he just
thinks he's the good guy.
He just does it in a particularly violent way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Other fun facts: he's immune to Ghost Rider's penance there.
Okay.
So that's cool. Deadpool is also immune to it, so I don't know if it's because of Deadpool or because of some other thing.
Well, yes. Once you got a bit of Deadpool in you, you can't get it out. And that's just nice.
Like I was saying, Eddie Brock now, he's running around this toxin. And Carnage is out now endowed with Eldritch magic from the Darkhold, which if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you'll know the Darkhold is some tome that Ghost Rider's after. And that it's a book of dark magic that's like sought after by a lot of villains.
Okay. In
the Marvel universe. So Carnage was like a herald. Now he's like doing his own crazy stuff. There's Toxin, and there's this new Venom.
Okay.
I don't know what's up with Flash Thompson. But, and Mania's the girl is still, her story is not wrapped up as far as I know.
Right.
So that's what's currently going on with them.
Awesome. Okay, so if I can move this on slightly now, what? Because I mean, there's quite a bit to sort of delve into there. What are sort of like, what are sort of like the sort of best, so either Venom or Carnage or any of the others, or the best like either storylines or in the TV series? What should like I or other people be going to sort of get the best grasp of these characters?
I feel like if you really want to get into the basis of what the symbiotes are about, You already know that he got the suit, the Spider-Man got the suit from space, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's more about the dynamic of the characters.
Yeah.
How they relate to each other. So, Maximum Carnage, where Carnage teams up with Shriek, Doppelganger, Demo Goblin, and Spider-Man and Venom have to team up against them with, I think, Black Cat and a few other people.
Okay.
That's a good understanding to know where they're at. As far as the Venom goes, for each major Venom character, the Civil War stuff for the Scorpion Venom, Matt Gargan, especially, I have is that X-Men Utopia, the Dark? That's interesting. He doesn't have a lot going on, but he's in the background, and you can see like the different dynamics of them.
Yeah.
I really like Space Knight with Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
If you're interested in all the weird little side hybrids, exactly. I'll go into Separation Anxiety, which was all those like premature symbiotes I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Toxin's a really cool little run. It doesn't go long. Other than that, some fun ones are, I think one of the coolest ones are the What Ifs and the like other universe ones.
Right.
Because in the What Ifs, these people get like, and you're familiar with What Ifs, they're the one shots like Imagine If.
Yeah.
So Punisher had it at one point in that.
Okay.
Wolverine, Thor, Galactus, Black Bolt. I don't know how Black Bolt would work though, because his power is sound, so maybe he gets like a durability to it. I don't know. Captain America, and no, I wrote that one down. I said that one already. Yeah, I think that's crazy.
Yeah, Galactus. That's.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that.
And like, there's so many. Like, you're familiar with the Spider-Verse, so think almost for as many Spider-Men there are.
Yeah.
There are Venoms or symbiotes of some sort. So you have like the Earth X, like May Parker, who is the daughter of Peter Parker, not a Spider-Man. She's actually she's a force of good using the symbiote.
Yeah.
Then you have like the Spider-Man like 2099, which is like Ron Stone, who's like this weird like. So it's cool how he's present everywhere because he's so colorful. He's like bad guy is like, because I wanted to say it's like his Joker.
Yeah.
But like when you compare Venom and Joker, you can't really see like them unless you like go, oh, they're twisted versions of their like nemesis.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly seems like from what you've told me in this, I mean that these symbiotes, and the most interesting thing about them is the sort of is, like you said, the dynamic between them and their hosts, and I think that is like a really interesting sort of character based. That can be a really interesting character based thing, whereas I sort of, with my surface level knowledge, just had it in my head that Venom just attaches itself to people and goes around doing crazy stuff.
Well, you wouldn't be wrong, because there is a version of him like that. I mean, and I don't like this version, but in the Ultimate Spider-Man version, Eddie Brock's dad, and because it's high school, so they're all together in high school.
Yeah.
So Eddie Brock's dad and Peter Parker's dad were scientists who worked on a cure for cancer, which was Venom. So I don't know how we get back to cancer again, but this weird suit is supposed to be a cure for cancer. And the reason why it's a prime candidate for Spider-Man is because his dad made it based on his own cancer. So it becomes like more of this like fungus kind of, like it attaches itself.
Right.
To
Okay.
things. Carnage in that is like a clone combination of the Lizard and Venom that takes over Gwen Stacy. I don't like the direction. I don't like a lot of the Ultimate stuff.
It seems kind of too mixed up. It seems kind of too mixed up and all. Like even the fact that like weird with each other. Weakness is electricity, so like they even had the need to change up its like physiology, which I don't understand. Right. Okay. Yeah, I've just had a bit of a. Enough to be an episode of this show. I've just had a bit of a brain stop working for a minute then. But yes, this has been a very interesting episode. This is exactly what I want from this show. Something I don't know a great deal about, that someone comes on, is passionate about it, and gets me more interested in this sort of stuff, because that's just great. I mean, you clearly are pretty knowledgeable when it comes to this kind of thing. Anyway,
There's two things that I hope people take out of this. One, I'm sure I missed a lot, and that if they're really interested in this whole concept, they should go back through and read what they can, or even there's a lot of like in-depth reviews of books, comic books on YouTube. I think you would know something about that. There's some other people who read comic books online
that are far more expert than me, I might add.
So definitely check it out. And the second one is, I hope that Coy from Screen Junkies learns how knowledgeable I am about comic books, and gets a little bit nervous about facing me in the upcoming fan fiction.
Well, we'll have to make sure Coy sees this then.
Yeah, he probably won't hear this, and I'm probably talking smack for no reason. But why not?
Well, still, talk smack. Speaking of fan fiction, plug away.
Plug away. Well, yeah, I have an upcoming fan fiction, not next Sunday, so not Easter Sunday, but the weekend after Easter Sunday.
Would that by any chance be on someone's birthday?
Is that your birthday?
That is my birthday. So
look at that.
That's a nice.
So
that's a nice birthday present. That's a birthday present you have to give me there, Tom.
For your birthday is the win.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want, as a birthday present from you.
But if you want to check out our other stuff, you can tweet me at OddShapePanel, and if you look at our content, you will recognize my lovely co-host, Kimber, who you can tweet at Kimber_OSP if you're more interested in talking about things with her. But check out the content on OddShape channel. We have OddShape Plays, which is doing some editing stuff right now. We do like bi-weekly episodes live of a certain topic. The next one is going to be Stephen King, which is the Monday following Morgan's birthday.
Yay!
9 p.m. live Eastern Standard Time. And we do a show with our patrons too, which we're still working on, but that's going to be coming out, episodes of that coming back out. Currently working on an Edgar Wright episode for the Tough channel, because we do all of our highlights of our live episodes and throw them over to our parent channel. They have great content over there, DVD Bunker, BFF, Fan Friction. I think I got everything, Morgan.
It's all the good stuff. It's all good stuff. Everyone should be checking out all of that because it's awesome. Yes.
And it's coming up too soon, but I'm going to be trying to do a American Gods recap show.
Oh, okay.
Because it's my favorite book. If mythology is your thing, I'm thinking about doing another little series alongside of it, but it's all depending on A, interest, and B, time. So
yeah,
you know,
a lot of stuff going on. And yes, guys, thank you for checking out this first episode of the PurpleDon Enlightenment Hour. I'm still very happy with that title. Very, very happy with that title.
I love it.
And yes, I have successfully been enlightened officially for the first time.
I'm just curious what little bit of knowledge we squeezed out to get all that in there.
Well, hopefully nothing.
And be like, how do I make a sandwich?
Well, I hope not. I hope it's not just like I'm down to 1% in my brain and things just have to transfer.
Like deleting files to make room.
Yeah, I really hope that's not the case with the human brain, but it actually might be. And
well, I'm a little bit older than you, and I'm going to tell you, it's kind of like that.
It is. It is like that. Okay, excellent. Guys, as always, you can check me out on Twitter at ThePurpleDon and sub to this channel for weekly new comic book flick through videos that I go to on a Wednesday, and on a Thursday you get those videos. Then you have this new show coming bi-weekly along or on alternate weeks with the Horror House main podcast, of course, which is still ongoing strong. So yes, you get all that. We're all doing some more stuff, which is always fun. You can also follow Horror House on Twitter at Horror House Pod. Again, Tom, thank you for enlightening me. Again, there's that word. On the topic of Spider-Man, Symbiotes, Venom, Carnage, and all that good stuff. Guys, thank you very much for watching. For listening. Not watching, because you can't see anything. For listening to this first episode of this new show. Hopefully you'll come back for some other ones. Until next time. Yes, Tom.
I just didn't want anybody to call me out in the comments. I forgot Scorn, who is another symbiote who fights Carnage. There's just not much to say about her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely ending. That was Tom putting his hand up there because he wanted to say something else. But yes, guys, until next time, thank you and goodbye.